Welcome to the Dougherty County Board of Commissioners meeting with your chairman, Christopher S. Cohilas. Your commissioners include, from District 1, Commissioner Ed Newsom. From District 2, Commissioner Victor Edwards. From District 3, Commissioner Clinton Johnson. From District 4, Commissioner Russell Gray. From District 5, Commissioner Gloria Gaines. And from District 6, Commissioner Anthony Jones. Also joining us is your County Administrator, Michael McCoy, Assistant County Administrator, Scott Addison, County Clerk, Joanne Ware, and County Attorney, Spencer Lee. Thank you for joining your Dougherty County Commission meeting.
Go ahead and call over the Dougherty County Commission work session for February 22nd, 2021. We'll begin with the roll call. Note that Commissioners Newsom, Edwards, Johnson, and Cohilas are present. And a sound for Commissioner Gray, Gaines, and Jones.
Yes, present. Good morning. Commissioner Gray Jones.
All right, Commissioner Gray, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Gaines are all present.
Jones present.
We're all present and accounted for. We'll now move on to delegations. This is where the Commission will hear comments of those items pertaining to Dougherty County for which a public hearing has not been held or scheduled. We ask everyone to be brief, to the point, and considerate of time for others. The first is Keep Albany Dougherty Beautiful Executive Director Judy Bowles, who's present to update the Commission with the 2020 Annual Report and Arbor Day activities.
I'm going to start my presentation with my annual report, which was 2019 and 2020, and I'll ask them to start the video now. I'd like to close out my report. I've left 3 sheets at each of your desks, and I want to invite you to the Arbor Day celebration, which is this Saturday at 11 o'clock at the trailhead at Radium. I'm very pleased to announce that Keep Albany Dougherty Beautiful applied for and received a Southwest Georgia Relief Grant for $10,000. And Georgia Pacific also donated $10,000 to our office, so we were able to put $20,000 into this project, which is a $41,000 project. So we'll be planting 49 trees, and we certainly hope that all of you are able to join us. It'll be very limited volunteers because we're not opening it up to the public. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from Ms.?
Good morning. $1.4 million in illegal narcotics. Of the cases that we made, 89 of those were here in Dougherty County. That's 42% of the cases that we made last year. We've been awarded for the 2021 fiscal year $248,000 by CJCC. It comes in a split grant. There's 2 separate grants, one for $44,858 and one for $203,142, and I request the Dougherty County Board of Commissioners to accept these grants on behalf of the Southwestern Regional Drug Enforcement Office.
Mr. Chairman, is there a match to this?
No.
Seems pretty straightforward. Any comments or questions for Agent Schwaltz?
Yes, please. Good
Commissioner
morning.
Good morning.
Yes. I'm curious how we stack up against other regions and whether or not the arrests, particularly in Dougherty County, since it's so high, whether or not they are for what class of drugs are we talking about? I don't really know how you classify them, but are we talking about the really bad stuff or marijuana?
Our focus is on more mid-level and upper-level drug dealers.
Okay.
As far as stacking up, last year was our first full year working cases. We started out the year with only 6 GBI agents and 2 task force agents. We lost 2 GBI agents this year, and we also picked up 4 additional task force agents. And those task force agents that we have never worked narcotics before, so that's a lot of learning curve. We only had 6 people for 9 months out of the year. The last 3 months we had additional personnel pick up. The drugs that we've got, a majority of them are methamphetamine. We don't focus on marijuana cases. We do make marijuana cases if we come across them, and we find those. Our focus is on the trafficking level offenders, which is normally methamphetamine, cocaine, the more illicit drugs. As far as stacking up, I don't know how we stack up against other regional offices right now because we are very new. A lot of our agents are still in training or should have been in training last year, but with COVID, a lot of that has been put on hold. We actually have a majority of my office in training this week and next week, so our statistics for the next couple of weeks will be very low. So we're still building our personnel and training our personnel to effectively work major investigations.
Thank you. Very elucidating.
Where do you do your training?
Where do we do the training? Depends on what training it is. Right now, the agents are training on meth lab investigations, which is in Helen. It's the only time in the last 5 years they've held this class. So it's very difficult to get into, but we were able to get as many people as possible, so we sent them all at one time. Normally we try to maintain the office and send them off to training 2, 3 at a time. This is one of those classes that we needed to send everybody to get them in because of the limited availability of it. But we've sent them to Forsyth, we've sent them to wherever the training is that they need to go to, we'll send them to it.
Thank you. Thank you for your commitment.
Thank you.
Thank you, and Agent Swalls, as always, I'm very thankful for this partnership and the fact that we have the GBI here in Dougherty County, and very much appreciate y'all's efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kahilis. Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next, Solid Waste Director Campbell Smith, who's present to update the commission with the 2020 annual report and to introduce the Employee of the Year, Ronaldo Dumas, Heavy Equipment Operator and Manager of the Year, Annie Hill, Administrative Operations Manager. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is
Good morning.
Annie Hill and Ronaldo Dumas. Annie is the Manager of the Year, and Ronaldo is the Employee of the Year for the Solid Waste Department. So, congratulations. Thanks,
I
y'all.
think I deserve a round of applause. Thank you for your service.
All right. The mission of the Solid Waste Department is to provide environmentally sound, safe, and cost-effective management of solid waste for the citizens of Dougherty County. In the annual report today, I'll be updating you on the personnel, our regulatory update, project update, landfill gas-to-energy project, and the financial and tonnage update and upcoming projects. For personnel, we have 5 new employees. The total employees is 17. That breaks down into 2 operations managers, an inside and outside, 2 supervisors, which each have a crew of 3 heavy equipment operators, an asset clerk, a mechanic, and 2 weighmasters to run the scale house, as well as 2 labor positions. For the regulatory update, this is what we reported on to EPD. This year we had 2 surprise inspections. The first one we had a score of a 90, and the second we scored 95. For the reporting, we had our Title V. That's semi-annual with annual admission fees, our annual stormwater, which is quarterly monitoring, quarterly methane monitoring, semi-annual groundwater monitoring, our remaining capacity report, which indicated we have 35 years of airspace left in the MSW landfill and 25 years for the C&D. Our tonnage fees reporting, annual greenhouse gas, quarterly leachate monitoring, financial assurance, and our annual surface mine. Sorry, I keep forgetting to click forward on the slides. Project updates. One of the big things this year is we've completed the flooring in of new cells 7, 9, and 11. So now we're on to the second lift. That was important. Now it's much easier for us to cover it and keep water out and control the windblown litter. Another thing we did in 2020 was the GCCS well redrilling and expansion project. We were able to redrill 14 wells. This was all in the Big Hill section, cells 8, 10, and 12. What this did was improve the reliability of the gas collection and control system, the GCCS. And we're also getting more gas off of those new, off of the cells where we re-drilled.
Mr. Smith, I have a question. And
Yes, sir.
Before you go past this slide, has the increased rainfall increased the amount of leachate and methane gas production as well?
Yes, sir, it does. With the increased rainfall, you get more leachate production, but you also get more gas, and it kind of seals in the system when the ground's wet. So it helps on the gas production, but it does create, some more water does get into the cells.
But you're able to capture more of this methane gas?
Yes,
when
sir.
it's
It helps when the highest production is when it's hot outside and it's kind of wet.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Is when we're going to see our best production. Another important project for the GCCS this year was the flare replacement project. The installation is scheduled at the end of March, so it's coming up next month. We should have it at the end of next month. What it does is the new flare will automatically turn on when there's a loss of vacuum on the well field during downtime of the Navy's generator. So that pretty much that generator is keeping a constant vacuum on the field and pulling the gas out, and that stops gas migration and keeps us within regulations from the EPD. So what this will do is prevent possible gas migration and keep landfill compliant with EPD regulations. So we should have that installed and running by the end of next month. Another important project we have coming up, which is going to be tied into next year's budget as well, is the scale replacement. And that's going to replace the original landfill in-ground scales with modern above-ground scales. This will improve reliability and accuracy and also make them easier to maintain, inspect, and repair. There were some new reporting requirements that have started for 2020. Under Georgia regulations, permitted landfills must submit new D&O plans every 5 years that they must operate by. Permit review is to assure that all operating solid waste handling facilities comply with the current requirements of the Georgia Comprehensive Solid Waste Management Act and the rules. Both MSW and CND are in wave 4 of the scheduled submittals and must submit updated plans by January 1st, 2022. So in 2020, Dougherty County Solid Waste looked at the feasibility of mining the unlined MSW cells 1 through 6 to expand the disposal capacity of the MSW landfill. The mining feasibility study concluded that the additional airspace gain for MSW disposal would not completely offset the cost of mining waste. Based on the results of the mining study, Dougherty County Solid Waste looked at horizontal and vertical expansion of both the MSW and CND landfills. The landfill gas to energy 2020 highlights are listed. We had 313,000 MMBTUs transferred. $228,000 was the total amount billed. Pass-through electricity was around $83,000 for a total revenue of $145,400. 5-year statistics, totals. You can see that we were down from 2019 to 2020 significantly. Some of that is due to COVID, along with losing some special projects from the city as well as ASH. You can see the MSW 5-year statistics. Our tonnage is down from 2019 to 2020. And the 5-year C&D statistics as well. Future projects, the Title V permit renewal will be coming up, as well as the scale replacement with the turnoff lane and bypass lanes, as well as the repaving project. And we will be bringing more of that information to you in the near future for your consideration. I already introduced the employees of the year, and that will wrap up the presentation.
All right, very good. Any comments or questions for Mr. Smith?
I have a short comment. Mr. Dumas was the Employee of the Year.
Yes,
and
sir.
He got right back to work, didn't he?
He did.
Did he? Okay. All right. He left out here kind of fast. See why he got his job.
He's done a great job this year. Was recently promoted from the labor position to Heavy Equipment Operator 1.
Oh, wow. Okay, good job.
That's awesome.
And how many years Ms. Annie has?
Miss Annie?
Yeah.
I'll let Annie answer that question. How many years have you been working for Dougherty?
32.
And how many-
32 years.
I don't know if you guys know this, but you know, she was a county policeman for how many years? 5. So that's good. We have some good, recidivism and commitment, so.
Yeah. Annie's a big part of our department.
Right,
She really ties it together.
Well, we appreciate you coming on board and doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right. Next, we're going to hear from Public Works Director Larry Cook, who's present to update the commission with the 2020 annual report and to introduce the Employee of the Year, Cindy Willis, Laborer and Manager, Benita Dykes, Administrative Supervisor. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank
Good
you
morning,
for having
ladies.
us here.
Morning, Larry.
We've got some great folks I want to introduce you to this morning. First of all, I'd like to say we haven't had an official opportunity to thank the commission for a couple of things y'all did for the employees earlier in the year. The check that you had given us, the one-time distribution check, was hit at the perfect right time. Just want to have an opportunity to tell you thank you on behalf of all of our employees for that.
You're very welcome, and thank y'all.
Thank you. The adjustments also, you saw the need for bringing some of our wages up. Y'all did that in a timely manner where our starting entry-level positions were competitive, helped us retain and recruit employees, and I think it's helped tremendously. But
Good.
today I want to introduce you to some fine folks, and they are really important to Dougherty County Public Works. Cindy Willis, she is with she's actually an EO1, but she's a crew leader and works at our Parks Division. She has been with us for 2 years. I don't think you'll meet a more energetic employee, and we have her currently assigned to Radium Springs Gardens out there, and she does a tremendous job just meeting, greeting, and just being a liaison and just a representative of us at the Radium Garden. She's learned a lot about it. She lives in the area, so she bought into that, and she knows a lot about it and just meets folks. And Cindy was one that initiated the activities at Halloween. You know, we had a little special deal going on out there where we greeted folks, Facebook and stuff, and she was the one that came up with that. And she did such a good job. We talked about doing it again at Christmas, and we put on the employees went out and decorated it and volunteered their time and efforts to do that. And she did a great job with the Christmas decorations out there and that leadership that she's got there. But she meets folks at weddings, and just like she's part of the wedding out there. But just a great employee, and we're looking for big things from Cindy. I told her she only had 5 minutes to make a speech, but
She's already crying.
She was. First time I've seen her speechless. But and then Benita Dykes, I think most of you know Benita. She's been with us for a couple of years now. She was with finance for nearly 10 years, I think, Benita. Unbelievable what asset she is for Dougherty County Public Works, her knowledge of the financial system and just her ability to get things in and out in a timely manner for the folks that need it. I don't think you could have asked for a better representative of Dougherty County for the folks that call in to Dougherty County Public Works and the staff that work for her. But we're really proud of Benita, and she's our Manager of the Year, and we're glad to have her represent us. Also, I want to introduce you to Sam Green. Most of you knew or know Donnell Mathis is Mosquito Man. Well, we have a new Mosquito Man on the block. And,
I hear you. Big shoes to fill.
That's right. That's right. Sam is mentored under Donnell for many years, and we feel like it's going to be a seamless transition for him to carry on the good things, and not only the work he does, but the liaison with Keep Albany Dougherty Beautiful and the outreach to these other programs. But we're looking for big things for Sam. But we just want to present these folks to you where you can kind of see the folks at Dougherty County Public Works.
Awesome. Well, let's give y'all a round of applause. Thank y'all very much.
She cries pretty easy.
I hear you.
Okay. We appreciate you having us here to tell us a little bit about what went on in the past year at Public Works. It's been an exciting, challenging year. We had a lot of things going on, as you well know. But we always start with our mission statement, and it's to provide world-class, cost-effective, efficient service to all the customers that we service. That was established in 2006 by the employees. The employees set these goals, and we try to live up to those standards every day. Some days we don't. We always try, but it's posted in our employee building, and everybody sees it and has a chance to review that. Just to look at the makeup of Public Works, we have 6 different divisions: our drainage, road maintenance, fleet maintenance, and environmental control and parks, and we'll go through some of those numbers very quickly. I know you want to move on to other topics today, but we'll look at our drainage division. Through drainage, we operate 15 pumping stations throughout the county. A lot of people don't really understand that we have that many. 5 of those are in-ground permanent stations that are powered, and 10 of them are portable. We use portable pumps, 5 pumps that we strategically designed 4 or 5 years ago through our stormwater SPLOST money. And those have tremendously helped these areas, low-lying areas that had water standing for days and weeks in some areas. But those are manned and by our drainage maintenance staff, and they've been working tirelessly for the last 3 or 4 weeks trying to keep up with the rain that we've had. Some of the special projects that came under drainage maintenance will help the landfill with hydro seeding when they did their cell modifications, drainage pipe, and spreading out at the new Elliott Park and Pine Glen that y'all approved. They put in all the drainage upgrades there. Alley paving projects on Lonesome Road, that shows you their diversity. They actually rocked the first alley that we did out there as far as our alley improvements, and we'll have more to say on that in just a few minutes. But also, I think one of the projects that was focused by the commission was a demolition of an unsightly area on Leary Road. That is complete, probably 90% complete. If we can get in there today, we'll finish it up. It's not too wet, but we'll get that out of that neighborhood and just kind of help the way that looks. But they've been extremely busy. Our road maintenance is really a diverse group. They do many different things. This year, our litter removal, we had 11.62 tons. That's down probably a third of what we normally do. And the reason for that is the COVID effect. Typically, we get 5 or 6 inmates that come in and assist with that, and we hadn't had those personnel that helped to pick up the litter since March of last year. So it's really down those numbers. You can see the effect. We continue to get calls for litter. We try to keep up with that with a one-person staff, and when we can, we put another person out there with them to try to cover that. But it's beginning to be a problem, and we'll continue to address it as quickly as we can. But they installed 20 driveway repairs, installed 4 driveways, did deep patching, which is crucial to our road, maintaining our roads at several different locations. You can see on the PowerPoint, crack seal is a machine that we bought about 3 years ago that actually extends the life of asphalt. You see these cracks in the road. We're able to go in and put an asphaltic filler in those, and it extends the life of that another 5 or 6 years before we have to resurface, which in the long run, we can move our money to strategic locations. They bladed 29 miles of dirt roads and alleys, and as the weather permitted. Also, some of the special projects that road maintenance, just kind of show you the diversity of Public Works, is they also worked on the Skywater, Pine Glen, and Radium Trailhead area. They actually assisted out at the improvements at Radium Garden with the ticket booth and the gazebo. They actually laid the sod and the plantings and stuff like that. They pitched in to do that. Installed bumper stops out at Radium and the other parks just for traffic control. Moving on to engineering, they're continuing to be busy. They have a lot of stuff going on. They've reviewed 4 new construction projects last year, created bid packages for the LMIG that just came to you, I think, a week or so ago. We're in the process of bidding that out for the 2020 resurfacing program. The 2021 should be coming out, I think, Jared, in another month or so. It's ready. We just need to get all the documentation to get it to you for approval and get that process. The sign ordinance that actually were countywide during the hurricane, signs were damaged, and reflectivity studies indicate that some of our signs need to be changed. We're fixing to go out with a massive contract with that too shortly. So you'll see some significant changes in the signage in Dougherty County. They inspected 10,452 linear feet for the MS4 compliance. That's the municipal separation stormwater sewer system that we're required to do each year as far as our permitting. Had bid and designed on the Turtle Grove, Turtle Park. That project is about 95%. We had some issues with some structural damage that was done during the construction. We're waiting on that to be complete until we have the ribbon cutting for Turtle Park and major improvements there. And we're waiting on a little bit of signage at that particular park. They had 38 utility calls for locates for us that we're required to do. And then they oversaw the damage for signs and road repairs for the Hurricane Michael event. We had to keep up with all that documentation, damage, time, repairs, and things like this. We completed 8 Mile Road railroad crossing, which was a hot point at one time. That railroad was in such bad shape. We had a lot of issues with that, and that was the last one that was on our list. We also completed some drainage on 8 Mile Road that was critical to some houses out there that were nearly getting flooding on major rain events. So we was able to finish that this year, which leads us to the resurfacing of 8 Mile Road in a timely manner. We're ready to go with our 2020, like I mentioned, on our resurfacing, and also completed design and construction for the administrating of the new trailhead at the and the golf course loop, or the walking trail that goes around there. And as you well know, the trailhead is complete. We're just waiting on going through with Ms. Bowles and Keep Albany Dougherty Beautiful do the Arbor Day, and then I think we're going to set a ribbon cutting for that pretty soon, maybe sometime in the next few months on that. But also engineering had compliance with the erosion sedimentation compliance inspections of 38, dry weather outfalls 10, insisted a lot of different other areas in as a course of the year, and some of their compliance with EPD regulations and things like that. Our fleet maintenance division was extremely busy. Had 141 work orders. Out of that, 250 were just routine work orders. Actually made calls for us, Sheriff's Department, facility, different agencies. We'd go out 230 calls on site for a total of 2,671 work orders. They actually distributed over 24,000 gallons of diesel fuel to our on-site equipment at our work sites. Environmental control, where you met Sam, was extremely busy this past year, continuing to try to control the mosquito issues that we have here. They actually sprayed 275,000 acres throughout the county. That's 7 different rounds that they make during the spraying time. It's a tremendous challenge to try to get those areas covered. Our surveillance had over 20 hours in surveillance, and mosquito control pesticide, they applied 1,546 gallons. We did have 275 complaints during the course of the year that we responded to, and that tells us where to target our assets, our spray trucks and stuff like that. Also put out over 4,200 briquettes. That's where we treat standing water to try to eradicate mosquitoes at the breeding points. Environmental Control also had some roadside, they were required to mow the rights of ways. They had 369 miles of right of way mowed. Canal mowing was 144 acres. And right of way took down trees on several different roads. And that's important because it clears the right of way during the wintertime when they can't mow. They're actually out on the roads cutting back limbs, trees, and vegetation on the side where they have more room to mow the rights of ways. Cut back and cut down 9 hazardous trees. That's trees that are dead on the right of way that have potential to fall during bad weather. Let's see. I covered that one. Let me back up one. Sorry. I think I'm missing one there. Anyhow, we'll move on to their neighborhood watch, where we partner with Keep Albany Dougherty Beautiful. We had 0 events this year because of restrictions on those meetings, and we're looking forward to next year as far as getting back into that swing where we get our message out to the folks. And moving over to the Parks and Gardens Division, As you know, they're required to take care of a lot of the venues, the EMS, central libraries, a lot of our venues like the Radium Gardens, as far as the mowing, the golf course and stuff like this. And you allowed us to go out with a contract for privatizing the libraries and the EMS station, and a few other venues downtown. And we're continuing to monitor that. We've been in that program 1 month, and we're continuing to monitor that, see how it's going, and making sure that's in compliance. Robert Cross facility, which has in the past been a popular facility, the numbers have been down a little bit. We had building rentals of 12 rental or events there. Shelter rental in that particular area was 22. In Radium Gardens, we had 2 rentals for weddings and different type of events at the garden. That has picked up in recent months. We've had a lot more weddings and activities going on at that facility. You can look at the next line down where it says Radium Garden Log. Usually that runs around 26, 27, almost 3,000 visitors that come through and actually sign the logbook, and it's down to 611. And like I say, that has actually picked up in recent weeks. So we're looking for bigger things there. And like I mentioned, the employees actually put on an event for Halloween and the Christmas event there. We do assist other divisions, Dougherty County Landfill, City Public Works, Keep Albany Dougherty Beautiful, Dougherty County Facilities, the libraries, the utility company, and also the police department, try to provide assistance for them. Some of the upcoming events we have is, as I mentioned, the 21 LMIG program, the Robert Cross Walking Trail. If you hadn't been by there, we're about 40% complete with getting that concrete walking trail around the pond that's down there. It's going to be absolutely fabulous to have that in, and that little exercise area that y'all approved to go in there be exactly like the one out at the Overlook Park. Our alley, first phase of our alley improvements is coming to completion. We have some decent weather. We should have that finished up pretty quickly. We'll be going into phase 2 of the alley paving, and also the going out with a contract on the rocking of these alleys. Also the expansion of Putney Park. We just got the approval to do some gravel walking ways, about a half a mile of walkway around Putney Park. People use that now, and I think this would be a great amenity to those facilities. And in the multipurpose trail at the golf course, we're proceeding now with the bridge rehab plans. We've gone through meetings and stuff like that as far as getting that to the next level. We're ready to go on that pretty quickly. That'll give us tie-in all the way over to Radium Springs Road along the river corridor back through there for a tie-in for the full deal. Some of the events that we've had, our employees recognize the APWA Week, which was a huge success. We also help with the Red Cross, just kind of some of the outreach that Public Works does. In-house, we have a chili cook-off annually. And we did early on participate in the Snickers Marathon. Of course, it was canceled this year, and we look forward to the next year. Our folks really get involved with that in the way of setup and participation and stuff like that. Just a little bit about Public Works and the makeup. We're 54 employees in Public Works. We've got 16 employees currently with 1 year or less, so we still have a lot of training and mentoring and development to do there. 17 employees with less than 5 years, so they're reasonably young too in their skill sets. 13 employees with more than 5 years, 8 employees that are eligible to retire. And you can see the list under there. We've lost 2 managers, a heavy equipment 2 operator, and a welder in 2020, which is really significant when you're trying to meet the tasks that we have to do. With that, Mr. Chairman, that's pretty much, I know it's lengthy, but that's pretty much what we've gone through the rest of the year. I think that 2021 is going to be just as exciting, just as eventful, and I think the employees will be up to the challenge.
A lot of good developments. Larry, as always, thank you very much, and all of your staff and all of your team. Fantastic work. Any comments or questions for Mr. Cook?
Yes, one, we'll just comment. We are not going to accept your retirement.
I second that.
I'll bring my wife down here. Thank you, then.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. All right. Any other delegations that did not previously sign up that wish to be heard at this time? All right, let's move on. Minutes of the February 1st regular meeting, February 8th work session, and February 8th special called meeting. Any comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, we're going to move on. Recommendation to purchase one 2021 Ford F-150 4x4 pickup truck for the coroner's office from the lowest responsive and responsible bidder meeting specifications Sunbelt Ford Lincoln out of Albany, Georgia, in the value engineered amount of $34,962.28. Four bids were received, with the highest being $51,244.20. Funding is available in SPLOST 7. Mr. McCoy.
We recommend approval.
Any comments or questions, discussion?
Yes, one comment. When we, I see where you had, we edited those options. Who make that decision? Do you have conversation with the coroner, or you guys just come up to an agreement?
Well, we set a budget, and Ms. Ware?
Okay. Are you able to hear me, sir? Good
Yes,
morning.
sir. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It's a combination of where Mr. McCoy was saying there's a budget established, and there was communication with the coroner, Mr. Addison, who's over purchasing, and the buyer with the city of Albany.
Okay. So I guess then I'll just ask the coroner himself, are you in agreement with those particular line items scratched out? Because this is not the vehicle that you drive. This is what, the transportation vehicle for bodies? Which one is it? Yeah, okay. So, I mean, speak freely.
Well,
I mean.
Well, they gave me a budget. I mean, at first we had told them what we wanted. And then they gave me a budget and said I need to come down to that. So I need to start cutting. So I had to start cutting until I get down to the budget.
I like to see that remote start thing back if that's your vehicle.
I agree with that 100%, but I'm
just
trying to follow the rules.
Right, but I would like, if that's the personal vehicle, I mean, for the county itself, I just look at the overall thing, safety, the whole 9 yards, walking to your vehicle, who you are, et cetera. I can, the bed liner, you do any towing?
No, I don't do no towing at all.
Okay, I can go with, I can go with those two, but that's just I'm only one commissioner, so.
Yeah, the bed liner is definitely kind of needed for items, gloves, body bags and stuff that I had in the bag, so it won't be sliding or whatever, for protection wise. But I was just trying to go get down to the budget price they told me, but
I have a question.
I didn't understand it, but I just went.
But we appreciate it.
I have a question. Mr. Fowler, how old is the vehicle you have now?
It's right at 9 years old, I think.
9 years old. Is that style of vehicle better than the pickup?
Well, I've got stuck numerous of times in the county where you get in the mud and stuff like that, so the four-wheel drive would be better, I think, for sometimes the areas I go in the county,
Okay.
in the woods, so I think that's better.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So I'm get back to the point, I guess, is it any way we can do that, add that back in, Mr. Chairman?
Which part is that?
That remote key, that 243.
What does that do to the bid?
Well, it's gonna take you at $243 to that 34,000.
I'll be honest with you, Commissioner Edwards, I had not analyzed that. I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, but I didn't evaluate that.
That sounds good.
It's
just adding back, that'll be that 243, throwing back onto that $34,962. So Mr. Newsom, he know how to do it in his head real quick.
What was the line item is what I'm talking about? What was it, remote start?
Correct. On page,
I got it. I got it. All right.
See it?
No, I got it in my head.
Okay, here you go.
All right, I'm not opposed to that.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Recommendation to purchase a T60T hydro seeder for the solid waste department from state contract vendor Flint Equipment out of Albany, Georgia, in the amount of $35,628.72. Machine will be used to grass areas of the landfill to comply with EPD rules. Funding is available in the solid waste capital outlay. Mr. McCoy.
Recommend approval.
Any comments, questions, or discussion? All right, there being none, let's move on. Recommendation to purchase one Alamo 25-foot boom mower in the amount of $74,600 and one John Deere 6130M cab tractor in the amount of $99,773.52 from the state contract vendor Flint Equipment Company out of Albany, Georgia, for the Public Works Department. The total expenditure will be $174,373.52 and is budgeted in SPLOST 7. County Administrator, Mr. McCoy.
Recommend approval.
Any comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, let's move on. Additional business, recommendation to take appropriate action to either demolish or bring up to code two purported dilapidated structures located at 2912 and 2914 Thrasher Avenue. Mr. Lee. Spencer, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I can. We're on Thrasher.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think the commission remembers a while back that they took action, that you took action on some property out off of Leary Road. There were 3 lots out there with dilapidated homes on them. You passed a resolution requesting the Director of Code Enforcement to go out and analyze those 3 structures and give a report as to how much it would take to bring them up to code. And they did that, and then after that, I filed a petition in Superior Court to have those 3 structures either demolished or brought up to code under your nuisance abatement ordinance. Judge Lockett ordered that they either be brought up to code within a certain period of time or demolished. They were not brought up to code, so under the nuisance abatement ordinance, you funded the demolition of these 3 lots and these 3 houses. And if you go out off of Leary Road now and look, it's a whole lot, a big improvement out there coming down Leary Road, because the houses and the lots, the houses have either been demolished or in the process of being demolished, and the lots have been cleaned up. Now, also out in that subdivision behind those lots on Leary Road is the subdivision called Rolling Acres. They have a very active group of folks out there that are interested in making certain that their subdivision and some of the houses in there meet code standards. So they have requested that the county take a look at two more lots out there at 2912 and 2914 Thrasher, and are suggesting that they need to be either brought up to code or be demolished. So now what you have in front of you is just a conversation to begin talking about the possibility of passing a resolution next week authorizing the code enforcement officer to go out and analyze them and do a write-up on these 2 lots. So next week you'll have in front of you a resolution that does that, and if you wanted to go out and take a look at 2912 and 2914, then you'll be able to make a decision about it.
All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
To Mr. Lee, while he's in the business of bringing property up to code there are several pieces of property that's in District 6 that the homeowners are really up in the air about it. We have one on Barbergale where there's a tree laying in the property. Also, there's one on Dykeman where it's burned down. So we need to get a list of these properties so that we can give these homeowners and these taxpayers some relief on these dilapidated pieces of property there. And I would like for Dykeman to be in there. I don't have those addresses, but Mr. Lee has them. He can get them from code enforcement. And we need to look at putting Dykeman in there and that property on Barbergale, because those properties have been there since 2017. Mm-hmm. And I know we're saying that a pandemic, but that dog won't hunt anymore compared for the people down there in those areas where they have to get up and look at these dilapidated pieces of property. So we need to look at clearing those out and giving those homeowners some relief. And it's probably a couple of others that we have. I don't have those addresses in front of me, but this is a good day to talk about, since we're going to be bringing this forward. I'd like to see those properties in there as well. Ms. Angel Gray and Mr. Lee also has those addresses in District 6 that we can kind of get some relief there. We did over on Holly, Betty's Drive there. They are making some progress on that one, but these others we need to do something about.
Did you say Betty Drive, Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, Betty's Drive. That one.
Yeah,
is,
I'm familiar with where you're talking about.
The main one is Barbara Gale. Barbara Gale. I don't have the exact address. That house has had a tree laying in that house, and those folks, rodents and everything in there. That's on Barbara Gale, and another one on Dykeman, right off of Mark Road. The attorney is familiar with it.
Understood.
Mr. Chairman, let me, if I could, explain what we're doing under the public nuisance abatement statute. The house on Betty's Drive, Harry James is out working on that one on behalf of the owners, and Commissioner Jones is correct. They're making some improvement on it, trying to rehabilitate that house, and it has been subject to an abatement action in magistrate court. But at the present time, it's being remodeled slowly, but it's being remodeled. The house on Barbara Gale with the tree in it, in order to qualify for to take a nuisance abatement action to either magistrate court or to the superior court to either demolish the house or have it brought up to code, an analysis of the cost of repair needs to be done by code enforcement. And if the cost of repair is less than the value of the house, then it doesn't qualify as a dilapidated house under your public nuisance abatement ordinance, and the county is not in a position to have it demolished or to demolish it ourselves. So that's the problem with Barbara Gale. Now, I think code enforcement is still actively working on that one to take a look at it, but and I don't know where they stand on Barbara Gale. But as far as the tree's concerned, if it doesn't qualify for as a dilapidated house, if you try to take action against somebody to go in and fix their house up, that's very difficult to do. So that's the problem with Barbara Gale, is the damage enough to bring it under the dilapidated nuisance ordinance. That's the problem with Barbara Gale, and they are looking at it and trying to get some different figures on it. It never qualified before based on what code enforcement wrote up on it. Part of the problem with that was because they couldn't get inside, and I think they're probably going to try to get inside. We've sent that to them before under under a resolution to take a look at it. So that's where Barbara Gale is. Also, I think when the county bears the cost of these, I think maybe the county administrator should bring us up to date on how much money was set aside for the county to demolish houses, dilapidated houses within the unincorporated area. We've demolished 3 out on Larry Road. We haven't gotten a write-up from Public Works yet on what it cost us to do that. And then we're looking at these 2 out on Thrasher. One of them out on Thrasher may not qualify as a dilapidated home. It is an abandoned home, but it may or may not qualify as a dilapidated home in order for us to be able to go demolish the house. So that's why we're sending it over to the code enforcement officer to go out and take a look at these 2 on Thrasher, just like we did send it over to code enforcement to go over and take a look at Barbara Gale. So
we budget about $50,000 annually.
Okay.
Yeah, but then that 50,000.
I'm sorry. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I hear Mr. Lee. But it's hard for a homeowner to have to wake up every day. They have children playing in the area there. You got a dilapidated piece of property with a tree laying in the land there, and they can't even cut it. We need to drop back and punt on these issues and find out a way to make these, to get rid of these dilapidated pieces of property, such as the one that's on Dykeman. Probably that house burned probably in 2015, and then we just got a structure over there that's burned, and no one has torn it down. You got those gang kids going in there drawing graffiti on it. I mean, we need to do a better job of policing these properties and making sure that we get them taken down. I mean, I don't know what we need to do, but we need to do something to give these folks some relief. I have another one down on Little Train Lane there, where, you got folks that just, they had a garage or something there, they tore it down. Now those folks are just staying in that property. Code enforcement is looking at that one today. We're going to have to do a better job of policing these properties, and that one on Dykeman, I want to bring those properties in, bring pictures of those properties to you, to the commission, Mr. Chairman, and let's look at these things further, because I may need to bring the residents as well, because they want to hang me because of the fact that they're thinking that I'm not doing enough, and I'm doing all I can with code enforcement and trying to get them to take care of these properties. So we may need to bring the residents, and I want to bring pictures of these structures. So
I believe every word you're saying, Commissioner Jones. I believe every word you're saying, and I'm familiar with. I think just about every one of those properties, but I'm going to pause for a second because Commissioner Johnson had a question. Or you don't have a question? Okay, gotcha. So what it seems to me is we have two separate issues. We have the issue with we have a course of action to take with respect to 2912 and 2914 Thrasher Avenue. I don't think we have any argument about that. I think Commissioner Jones is raising the additional issue of the number of dilapidated properties that we have, and I'm happy to have a comprehensive discussion about that. I don't want to do that just piece by piece. I would rather have a comprehensive discussion on a future work session where we could get an assessment by staff if commissioners have dilapidated properties that are in the unincorporated areas of the county. I am very sensitive to the fact that we have a large number in the Radium Springs area and in the area of District 6 that Commissioner Jones talked about, Betty's Drive, et cetera. I would like to have a comprehensive view of what that looks like, and if we need to address that in our budgetary discussions along with an action plan that's guided by staff, I'm happy to do that. I would just prefer not to do it. I always try not to play favorites on anything, and I don't ever want it to look like if we're doing something that's just for one neighborhood or one person or one commissioner. I'd rather look at the whole problem and then go from there. And I'm not saying that we can or can't do anything, but I would certainly, I cannot stand driving out to Radium Springs in particular and looking at the houses that have blue tarps still on them, and there's one out there that still has a darn tree through it, and I get the same phone calls. Right. So I don't know how to fix the issue, and I know that there are rules that government can't fix private property, but by God, it is frustrating as heck to have houses that still have trees through them, and then everybody else has rebuilt their houses. We put $2 million worth of paving down in the Radium Springs area, and there's still a house that got a freaking tree through it. That's just, that doesn't seem right to me.
To add, I think Commissioner Jones was also speaking about the gas station on Holly Drive that has been abandoned. The truck driver stopped. The
one that was at the corner of Holly and Liberty Expressway?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir. And once we get an action plan together, is it feasible maybe for us at some point to look at hiring an attorney to go after just doing this part, contracting with a law office just to do this part of the service?
Say that one more time.
I said, would it be feasible possibly to just contract with a firm to just go after this? Just that's all they do is just focus on this.
It may be
if it's more feasible.
Yeah, it may very well be. I would like staff to guide that recommendation. I don't know how to fix that problem, but I'm tired of looking at it too. Does that make sense?
Yep. And those folks down.
They're good people, Commissioner Jones. I get it. I really get it. I'm saved. I believe you. I'm not arguing with you. I want to find a solution too.
I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman.
All
We'll
right.
follow your lead.
All right, thank you. I'm crying uncle, okay? All right. Next, review of Dougherty County Stormwater Control Ordinance relative to the implementation of changes recommended by the Environmental Protection Division of the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. Project engineer Jeremy Brown will lead us in this riveting discussion.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Changes to the stormwater control ordinance are a direct result of changes in EPD requirements and the stormwater discharges with respect to new development. This happens as every couple of years, EPD sends down some additional requirements that we have to adopt in our current ordinances. And so what we did, we took their recommendations, reviewed our ordinance, and then made changes appropriately to it, and we recommend the ordinance change.
All right, any comments, questions, or discussion on that item?
Mr. Brown, can you email me the differences between our ordinance and their ordinance?
Okay, basically, there's only one major thing that's different. Right now, we require them to not increase their flow from a pre to post development stage. So this one is going to require them to hold all the runoff from the first 1 inch rainfall.
Hold it in the whole fund.
And that's not a big deal in development in Dougherty County because most of the new developments use ponds.
Right.
So they'll just dig it a little deeper, a little bit wider, and meet that requirement. It's going to be a little more difficult in tight spaces like in the city of Albany. They're going to have the developers are going to have a little bit more problem doing it, but in Dougherty County we don't see much effect on that.
Thanks a lot.
All right, very good. Thank you, Jeremy. Mr. McCoy?
Nothing further. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Lee?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Newsom?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We owe a debt of gratitude to our chairman and to our county administrator for putting together and going to GEMA and getting this new vaccine station here. I had the privilege to go visit that Friday, and I'm totally impressed. But folks, we've got to use this. And my wife and I are fortunate to already have both of our vaccinations. I would encourage everybody, please do this for the sake of our county.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Newsom. One second. Thank you. That's a good one. Commissioner, thank you, Commissioner Newsom. Commissioner Gaines?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair. I too was present on Friday and very much impressed with the mass vaccination site. I do want to raise a question with you, however, and that is whether or not there is a phone number, because all I could find and provide for my constituents was a website.
Yes, ma'am, there is.
There is?
Yes, ma'am, I'm going to give it to you right now.
Yes, sir.
It's 844-275-3428.
And it does require reservations, so thank you.
I will say this, Commissioner Gaines, I don't think that they're advertising this. They will service folks that just drive up, but they do heavily encourage people to make a reservation, whether by going to myvaccinegeorgia.com or going or calling in. But they're not turning folks away, if you understand what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Absolutely. You're very welcome, Commissioner. Did you have anything else, Commissioner Gaines?
That's it. Thank you.
All right, very good. Commissioner Jones?
No, enough done been said by Commissioner Jones today.
Commissioner Johnson?
Just two things, sir. Ms. McCoy, we need to have a rec committee meeting soon. If you can get with us, I guess, in the first part of March. And also, I'm going to go back to the vaccine. It is great to know people can go ahead and log on early, and folks in my age group can go ahead and get on the list until they're ready to get called. So that's really good news. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Edwards?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Let me, as a point of privilege, I'm going to call for a moment of silence for the recent passing of Junebug Griffin, who served this community for a long time as a school board member and as just an outstanding citizen and community member. So if everyone would please bow your heads and close your eyes for a moment of silence. All right, thank you very much. And finally, as I will just say, and I'll echo the words of Commissioner Newsom, and we are very, very, very incredibly fortunate to have this mass vaccination site. And there are our relationships with the Georgia Emergency Management Agency and our work with the governor's office. That's a really big deal. And if y'all have not gotten an opportunity to go see that site, it is a tremendous investment, and it's a tremendous investment in this community. And the last thing that I want to see are vaccines traveling away from that facility to other facilities. And I want to be like very clear about this. They've got to have people for the vaccines. And if they don't have people for the vaccines, a Georgia State Trooper is going to go and carry those vaccines straight up to Macon to other people. And I don't want that Georgia State Trooper to make that trip one time. In fact, what I would prefer is there being a Georgia State Trooper carrying vaccines to Albany every single day. So that being said, we're adjourned. God bless. Reminded me. Let me find mine. All right. Go ahead and call to order the Dougherty County Commission special call meeting for February 22nd, 2021. Consider for approval the recommendation from the county attorney to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing property acquisition and pending litigation, and then to adjourn. Is there a motion? Second. Motion and second. Any discussion? There being none, we'll call the matter for a vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll now enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing property acquisition, pending litigation.